Hey, it's Jessica Goose here with RealAgriculture.com. Joining me right now is the closing keynote speaker at Farm Tech this year. It is Dr. Kimberley Amirault-Ryan. Dr. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks very much.
Amirault-Ryan, my apologies.
Say Kimberley.
Okay, Kimberley, we're friends already. This is great. I am so excited to hear you speak today. You are a performance consultant to professional athletes in the NHL, the NBA, Olympics. What else is on your resume? That's quite impressive.
Well, I was really fortunate that actually I started with the New York Rangers, and my actual first day on the job in pro sport was during 9/11.
Oh, wow.
I say I was fortunate because the things I learned about leadership and handling stress and adversity from the New York Rangers organization was incredible. And people like Mark Messier, who was our captain, and Glen Sather, who was our president and general manager at the time. There was things that I just think it was like getting another Ph.D.
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction into pro sport, as being the only woman with 150 men in the organization that way. And it taught me so many things from the beginning, I think.
And since there you flourished, like you said, NHL, NBA, Olympics. I think I saw on your website you've worked with Haley Wickenheiser. That's amazing. That's incredible. So what are you going to bring to the plate today for farmers? Kind of three key areas that you think that us as farmers and ranchers should really work on.
Right. Well, with farmers who, I mean, what a demographic of hardworking, high performers. And so there's the things that I bring them right into my world of professional Olympic sport that applies to everyone, no matter what, because we all have the same human habits and behaviors that I get into about how the three areas we hold ourselves back as humans. So that's our low completion rate of our goals, that less than 8% of us achieve our actual New Year's resolutions and goals. Yeah, it's 92% of us don't.
Thanks.
And then with how we handle our stress and adversity, that's a big one of how our whole confidence and self-talk when things go sideways as a human. I can get into that in a minute. And then thirdly, about how oftentimes we're not aware of how our own attitude impacts us and the people around us. So I divide the whole world up into energy givers and energy takers. And so I get into ways that every winning organization, whatever it is, how they set it up to have people that are solution focused energy givers, and you can do that in every day in your family and your whatever it is, the people you work with, right?
Anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So first off here, so low completion rate. So why is that? Why do 92% of us fail?
Because people start a new habit, we run often into obstacles, and it's normally the perception of lack of time. And Instead, what you want to be doing is focusing on your why, of why you want to achieve your goal, like that dream, that connection, right? So, for example, I had someone that wanted to work together that was because he was told he was days away from a heart attack from his doctor. His goal was to be healthier, obviously. Yeah. But we had to get down to his why. And his why was that he wanted to be healthy enough to ride his bike with his grandson. Awesome. So that's what you want to connect him with. The pictures of his grandson on his screensavers, on his fridge, to set it up so the habits to push through when things, to go through, to push you through the tough times when you're running into the obstacles.
So the second one here is how you handle stress. And that is one thing that we've been seeing a lot. Unfortunately, with this past year, we had what a lot of people have called it a harvest from hell. Not even getting the crop off the field. There's rural crime issues. You name it, stuff was happening in 2019. Handling stress is tough, for sure.
Huge.
But you got to sometimes let it go.
Yes, and it's something, though, that's not naturally ingrained in us, but there's things, we have our negative, okay, well, let me back up. Right now, we're feeling a certain way because of what we're thinking about. So we control that, but oftentimes there are thought patterns of what they were when we were 12 years old. So we haven't really filtered through of what's, misperceptions back then. So instead, what you want to do is become aware of the situation that's upsetting you. What are your thoughts around it? And that's the beauty of being human, is we can change our thought pattern. So what you want to do that if, for example, this is the biggest area I work with any humans, is around how they handle it after things have gone wrong or they make a mistake. So, right? So it'd be like, think of any mistake any of us have made. What are your first thoughts? Normally you swear, you berate yourself.
Oh, I knew it, right? I know better.
Yeah, and you get more and more upset. You get all and so with our athletes, same thing, is they'll do it, but sometimes if they make a mistake and they're so upset about it, though, they can't get their head back into it to then not make lower number of mistakes. So instead, what you want to do is switch your thinking to first take a breath and calm yourself down. Get refocus and recenter in a sense. Think about doing thought-stopping techniques where you can have like an elastic band on your wrist and snap it so that you're not dwelling on the mistake anymore, right? You think about the pain for a second, right? And then doing a reset where it's almost like you saw the mistake on a video, you rewind the video and replay it how you wished you had have responded. Okay. So anything that, like that is so key. So, because we all make mistakes, but replay it. So rewind it in your head, then replay it how you wished you had have responded, and replay that message over and over and over again in your head. So that the next time you're going to be able to handle the one. Right. Right. And then shoulders back, head up, it's basically we say fake it until you make it, and refocus on the only moment we have direct control over, and that's right now in our own attitude and what we're going to do moving forward.
The past.
Right. And it sounds easy, but it's not. When we're stressed, tired, cranky, things aren't going well, right? But the more you become aware of your feelings, you realize then that it's because of what you're thinking about, and you can change that. And oftentimes I find a lot of people, especially in the farming, because I have my husband's side's on the farming side from Saskatchewan. I come from fishing in the side of the Out East, and that side, I think a lot of hardworking, but they're perfectionists, and so they're so hard on themselves, right? That sounds so foreign.
That's very true.
So what I say to them often is just think about it, though, what you would say to someone you really care about. How do you get them to not be so hard on themselves, but still be raising goals and getting better, right? That way. Because sometimes we're so hard on ourselves and berating ourselves that almost you can have like a negative perfectionism that can drain you and wear you down. Yeah,
no, for sure. The last one here is that you're unaware of your own attitude. So I would assume here that it's basically your perception of what others might think of you. It might be true if you have that kind of stuck in your head.
Yes, like I simplify the whole world into people either give me energy or take energy. And so if you think of the people that take energy from you, they're the ones that walk in a room and they can complain and they just suck the energy out of the room, right?
Yes.
Right? And how you feel around them versus the ones that come in and are energy givers and you just want to be around them. You want to be better. Like they bring that energy. So every company, every sports team I've worked with spends a lot of time of selecting people, though, that are energy givers, solution focused. And so they spend a lot of time to create that high performance environment by design. So what I share today is around the men's Olympic hockey team of things they did behind the scenes to create that with, so that players that there was one that was trying out for the team that complained a lot and was things that he was caught about himself that literally he didn't make the gold medal winning hockey team because he was an energy taker. And it was his attitude, not his skill set that cost him a chance to be on a gold medal winning hockey team.
Yeah, you can work with the puck, you can get it to places, but if you don't have your head in the game fully, then you can't bring the team together.
Oh, yeah. And you think about how, it's like any of us. If we're working alongside somebody that you feel crappy around, right? Because they just
suck the life out of you.
Yeah. And that's only you do it. So instead, like, you can do things around helping that person become aware, have a mirror beside them, in the sense of having honest feedback and conversations in a team. We do it in team sessions where we talk about what we need from each other to be at our best and what we're going to bring. I've done that with 28 guys in a room where you sit them in a circle where they have to look each other in the eye.
Yeah, holding pillows.
No pillows. No pillows. Don't worry, I'm not that. It's just, but no, it's an honest conversation. You want to learn how to win? It comes down to then being vulnerable, knowing the guy beside you is struggling, and having them. It's been incredible. The more vulnerable, like we all have the same vulnerabilities and insecurities. Essentially, we do as humans, but we all think, oh, I shouldn't share that. But yet, that's how you connect with people when you're honest. That hey, I'm having a rough go here. So I've had it in team sessions with these guys that are world famous, that they've said, what, this is what I struggle with. Or, we talk about things that are going to throw them off their game, whether it's criticism from the coach, criticism of the media, things not going well for themselves, they're not performing well, and how hard they are on themselves, and then saying, okay, this is what I do need from the team. And for them to say, you know what, if you can just give me a pat on the back or tell me to get my head out of, out of my butt, if really just to be, and then they're like, wow, if that guy is actually admitting that that's a tough go, I'm not the only one thinking that, and they're not. I mean, I'm privileged that I'm inside their heads that I know that. And so it's getting over that ego sometimes, right? That way. And then once there, it's incredible when they share that and connect and then look at solutions going forward.
Wow. And I like what you said here, really. Athletes are, I would say, somewhat like ranchers and farmers here, right? They're so hard on themselves that you want to go. You got to keep pushing. There's no really time to sit back and not relax, but sit time and just take a breather and kind of check in with yourself. And that's what you said is needed, right? You need to kind of have that focus and get that kind of stability within.
And the work ethic. That's the biggest thing I see. Like we've had farmers on our teams, I would take 28 of them any day. Because they just know how to work hard, right? And make things happen. They're not going to sit back and watch for it to happen. They're in there. And those are the people you need on an organization to be successful in any field.
When you talk about vulnerability, what is, I guess, maybe the best piece of advice that you give to people that are kind of on the brink of wanting to share their thoughts, but they're still too scared?
That's a great question. I really I learned this from Glen Sather, okay? So it was obviously part of the Oilers dynasty here, is that what do you got to lose? Really? Right? Like we all do, like he was the one that when I remember when the Knicks were, hadn't hired a woman ever in the sense of, and he was like, why wouldn't you try it? Like, why wouldn't you try something different, right? And just putting yourself out there. And, and there's a saying, like he always used to say, like, pressure builds diamonds, right? And so it's putting pressure on yourself and then trying to step outside of your comfort zone. And we all need to learn how to be comfortable in that uncomfortable zone. And oftentimes we're so worried about what other people think of us. But I remember I was given great advice when I started to work at Madison Square Garden. And the first day, I think it was with the Knicks, it was on CNN that one of the NBA players sat beside me at practice. And I was at a restaurant that night and I saw it was on CNN. And there was a picture of, I was like up there, I was like, this is okay. I'm in a fish bubble in a sense. This is a new world for me. But I remember one of the guys said to me, he goes, there's a quote that if you pay too much attention to people sitting in the stands, pretty soon you'll be sitting beside them, right? So if I'm paying attention to what other people are saying about me, then I'm not really focused on what I can bring,
on you
right?
And your goals.
Right. And so if that's what I'd say to them is that you come back to what do you need to share? What do you need to do? What is it, and go for it. Like, really, I don't want to have any regrets when I'm
what is there to lose?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kimberley. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Jessica.